Look around you. Do you see evidence of God's promises being kept? How about in your own life? Well, today we're going to look at one man who definitely saw God's promises being kept. We're going to look at Noah and his ark. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In this series, we look at the stories in the Bible and their meaning for us today. So let's dive into it. God had been watching humanity and was not pleased with what he saw. People were sinful and his heart was sad. He had loved creating humans and he still loved them, but they had turned away from him and were not living as he intended. And so he decided to send a global flood to cleanse the earth of all people, except for one family, of course. Because God is full of mercy, and he made a promise to that one family. This promise made to Noah became a cornerstone of God's promises throughout the rest of the Bible. In Genesis chapter 6, verses 13 to 22, we read about God saying to Noah, "I have decided to make a clean start with you. You are to build an ark for yourself and your family and all the wild animals and the birds in the sky. I will give you every kind of living thing that moves along with the ground, so that you can look after them." Then God gave Noah detailed instructions about how to build the ark. Now, building an ark was a huge project, but we don't see any panic in Noah's actions. He just started to work. Why? Because Noah trusted in God's promises. Verse 22 says, "And Noah did everything just as God had commanded him." Notice that verse says that 3 times during the construction process, God said to Noah, "This is how you are to make it," or "You are to do it like this." It's almost as if God wanted Noah to really understand the details of this promise. There are several things that we can learn from Noah and his actions here. First, we see a man who was obedient to God. Noah didn't question God's word. He didn't complain or try to change God's plans. He just did what God told him to do. When was the last time you just obeyed God without questioning him? Second, we see someone who was willing to trust God's promises. Even though there were times when God's promises seemed to be delayed, Noah never wavered in his faith. What promises of God are you holding on to today? Third, we see someone who took action. Noah didn't just sit around and wait for God to save him. He took action to build the ark. What action are you taking to follow God's will for your life? The main promise that God made to Noah was that he would send all the animals to him so that he could take them onto the ark. And we see that in Genesis 7, verses 1 to 3. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Go and bring your family into the ark. With you must go 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 2 of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate. Also, you are to bring into the ark with you every kind of bird that can fly, male and female, to keep the various kinds alive on earth. They will return to you and your family and to all the other animals and the birds after the flood." And so Noah did. He brought in one by one all the animals and the birds, and the Lord closed the door behind him. Here we see the promise being fulfilled. God kept his word and sent all the animals to Noah, just as God had promised. God had said that he would destroy all living things on the earth. But he kept his promise by preserving the life of Noah and his family and all the animals on the ark. There are some amazing Bible promises that God has made to us, and I encourage you to meditate on them and believe them. In Romans 8:28, it says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." What promises of God are you holding on to today? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends and family. If you want to know more about the character of God, then check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.